We are here today to talk about how to remember the world legacy of Padma Vibhushan T Balasaraswati, known as Tanjore Balasaraswati, known as the icon of India, the iconic dancer of India, the last empress of the Devadasi hereditary tradition. She was a part, Balamma. They used to call her Balamma. She's the mother of Indian dance. Bharathanatyam.
Everybody knows her more than Balasaraswati. Everybody refers to Balamma.
Yes, absolutely. And on this day, this gives me so much pleasure to be talking with you about Balamma on this, coming World Dance Day, and we will be celebrating that soon. So let's have a little bit of a chat about Balamma.
Yes, and here I would like to tell you something that we are very happy, especially I'm very happy that the World Dance Day, in the first time when Bhavan did, it was with you and you spoke and you were behind that, and today Avanthi, it has taken such a momentum and it has grown into such a way that we are going to see that when we celebrate it on April the 20th. And very nice to have you again with us on that day.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy that it has become part of Bhavan history, the World Dance Day, and that we are actually talking about Balamma on this day.
Of course.
As you know, her centenary celebrations are being celebrated all over the world.
Yes, of course.
It started in India, of course, in February last year.
Yes.
And it will conclude in May because she was born 1918, I believe, if I'm right, and then passed away in 1984 at the age of 64. So it was a short life, but a legacy that we remember.
Definitely.
Yeah, and her inspiration is not just to the hereditary community. I mean, she's so many things. I mean, to area studies scholars, she's one thing. She's for academic teachers like myself, to practitioners, she's something else. To dance teachers, she means something else. To students, it is such and to historians, a completely other legacy. So what is Balamma's inspiration to you? What would you say?
Yes, because as you have mentioned very rightly, she's a personification of the entire Bharatanatyam format. But when my mind goes through, or when my journey has gone through regarding Balamma, from what we have seen and heard and things like that, of course your first exposure is with your teacher. And I very clearly cherish that, the sentence about Balamma which my teacher said, and of course it is in Tamil, Sir speaks Tamil at that time. So he used to tell and narrate, which he has heard from his Natvanar clan, that the famous one which everybody knows, Avantikaji, the Krishna ni begane baro.
Right.
Everybody throughout that, the teachers, the performers, the students, that is there. Everybody has heard about that. So my teacher used to say that he has heard when he was getting introduced into the dance for that Bangam and for teaching as in the family. Their forefathers used to say that once when Balamma was performing in the temple thing, in a temple she was performing, and it was an outside situation. Temple was the background and then it was on the outside courtyard. Everybody is sitting over there, the great Vidwans, Natvanas, common people, the temple people, everybody. And when Balamma started, Krishna ni begane baro, at one place she was just turning into a side and looking over there and dancing and singing and everything, and everybody, she's not turning to this side to the audience or where she started. So everybody started looking at that side. And the space is totally empty. Nobody can see anything there. But Balamma is still there, finishing all what she wanted to, and she came back, faced them. So it was a question mark. And Balamma being Balamma, because she always has cared for the Rasikas, because they are the Rasikas. If they don't understand and take it, then it won't be there. So after the performance, She just told in their language, I have seen, or you may be thinking that why I am just looking at that empty space and dancing, with all my energy and my devotion and everything without looking at you. But let me tell you, I was addressing Krishna and my Krishna was standing there.
How beautiful.
So I have to. And when I finished that, I came back. This is why I looked. And the whole people, they were all speechless, but at the same time they all opened up their eyes and said that all eyes were just like that to Balamma. That was her magnetic power.
And you know that Satyajit Ray, the great filmmaker,
Oh yes.
he did a film on Balasaraswati,
Yes.
Balamma in the 1970s, and he captured this song, Krishnani Begane.
Oh.
And she's performing this song on the seashore, actually. And I have written about it as well. And
Did you?
yeah, so I juxtaposed, I sort of spoke about, Balamma, or any of us, any of your students or students around the world doing Krishnani Begane on the stage is one thing. And then she's doing this in front of camera on that is its camera. And I wrote an article about how on stage when Balamma would do Krishnani Begane, that there is this magic, the magic of the choreography. What did I say? Crystal ball. I said something about the crystal ball, that you don't know, the crystal ball is being passed, between the dancer, where is the cue? She passes it and then it goes to the mridangist and then it goes to the musician and the flautist and her whole ensemble. So the passing of the crystal ball.
Oh, it's such
beautiful. I know. It was a book about dance and choreography, but I sort of...
No, but it will be a great help, Avanthi Amma.
Yeah.
Because if you have specifically written something like that,
Yes.
The dancers or the aspiring people who wants to know, they can go straight away into a chapter or a volume or to a title where they can get what they want.
Yeah, so
It's
there
so
it
nice.
was. What is this choreography that is so intricately connected to music, to rhythm, right? There is choreography in what Balamma was doing.
Definitely.
And it was also spontaneous,
Yes.
right? A manodharma, and it was happening there in front of you. So, but there is choreography. So that is the sort of interesting thing, and I sort of captured that through the metaphor of the crystal ball. What other inspiration that Balamma provides to our students today and to practitioners of Bharatanatyam?
Now, Avantikaji, the second thing comes to my mind. I don't know, I will express whether you agree with that or not. Now, we as modern dancers or as choreographers or anything, we generally say that how we want to start the item with the music or the flute starts or the violin gives and then we enter or still on the stage or the light on the spot coming. There are different ways of giving
entrances.
How to start to get paid.
How to start.
Now when I see that I go back to my teachers because that was the source to know about these great people. So they used to tell us in a simple way that the advantage of Balamma was that she was a very good musician. And when she starts, she just stands at the wing and with the alapana of whatever she is doing, whether it is a varnam or it is a javli or a padam or a devranama, she enters with the alapana by herself. And then all the musicians follow that. So the very point of what we are trying to give in specification in modern times, Balamma has thought about it but not given a name. But again, it shows the bondage of music and dance. If you want to get the paripurnata or the ultimate of or a successful presentation of your theme, these two, right from the beginning, has to establish 50-50 link, and they have to merge together as one,
Yeah.
and then go.
Bharati ji, I'm just remembering that when Balama, I believe, performed in America, and Merce Cunningham is one of the great, postmodernist or modernist choreographers of our time, and he came, I believe, to the performance, and he said suddenly he saw illumination. Here was somebody who was just standing there, unprepared, unassuming, what you were saying about, a confident start and that sort of thing. She didn't have any of that aplomb. She was just there, and then, and he said, "What have I come to?" He's imagining, and then suddenly illumination. He saw illumination.
Beautiful.
And then Anna Kesselgroff has said, when we saw her dance, the spiritual origins, were all revealed at once. So this is the kind of captivation that, somehow just her presence, the simplicity of her presence,
definitely,
the unassuming simplicity. And then, of course, in India, we have said things are so correct. The whole world was in her hands.
Yes.
Right? One saw the whole world in her hands. That's a metaphor that Anandi in Shruti, Gauri Ramnarayan's mother, sort of wrote about Balama, and that metaphor of the whole world in her hands.
Very true.
And then recently, a sort of a videography on Balama says that, actually has a caption that says, "Time stood still at her feet."
How true.
Huh?
How true.
So, that I think is an inspiration she gives us as dancers and academics and teachers.
Yes.
And all of that, isn't it? The simplicity.
Yes.
Yeah.
The simplicity, and Avanthi, here, don't you think that the understanding of the music, the structure, the music, and the dance, and with the moving body, that is the dancer herself, how they have to be harmoniously
Together.
Yeah.
That
Interlinked.
Yes.
But that concept is very relevant even to modern times, don't you think so?
Absolutely.
For the success of the thing.
Particularly for our form of dance.
Arts. Our form of arts.
Yeah.
So it was
Not so for the Western dance forms, but they have made the separation between, rhythm, music, and narrative, and so on. But our forms are total.
Our forms are Sampurna Kalarupam, we say in our language.
Yes.
The totality. The totality of all aspects of that. That was the thing I really felt.
Yes.
And
so the integration is an inspiration.
That we all dancers or whoever wants to teach, even you should have that sort of a concept. Then whatever you give, at least the students will follow that first, and later on they will take up in their own way.
Yes.
Because it is individual minds.
But that's what Bhavan does. You try to teach both music and dance so that they are attuned to.
Yes. And it is, here also again when I say Sampurna Kalarupam, our Bhavan also provides all that.
Yes.
Because all now South Indian percussion, because South Indian music, and we have got dance music only for the dance students who are going for certificate courses and things like that. So it gives them a better footing, better understanding, and makes it easier also.
Yeah, the totality.
The totality to have that.
Absolutely.
Since Avanthi, we have talked about almost so many things about Balama, and about the modern works, and how each thing is important, and how she has brought the totality and everything. Now, what do you think in your own way? What is the final thing, or the completion of anything, like achieving what you want to do, whether it is on a theme or whether it is on an abstract or anything? What is the ultimate?
Right.
Because you are dealing with so many students who has got no background of Indian musical dance in your university.
Yeah.
But when you start lecturing to them, they all come into your fold, and what you give, they understand, they respond. So from that point of view, everything will have that sort of a fulfillment.
Yeah, so actually, Bharati ji, if I may, I wanted to say to you that they had this exhibition of Balama in Madras, in Chennai, as part of the centenary, and MOPA, Museum of Indian Performing Arts, they had collaborated with Aniruddha, the grandson of Balama, and took archival material from there and did this exhibition at the Madras Music Academy. And the exhibition was titled The Credo of a Dancer. So what is Balama's credo? What is her vision? So it was just captioned as the credo of a dancer. So I went and asked, I had a long conversation with Aniruddha after that, and also with Douglas Knight, his father, has written this fantastic book on Balama, which has now been translated into Tamil, I'm told. And I had a long conversation. What is the credo of Balama? Because, I mean, it's an open question, and we haven't asked this question, and, I have to teach, we teach her everywhere in the world, we cannot not teach Balama. So what is this credo of Balama?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a question now that needs to be opened up in this year of her, the anniversary. What do you think? Is this, we were talking earlier about, you said fulfillment?
Yes, fulfillment is something which is very important. Now, in simple way, certain times when we are performing, the rehearsals we feel, it was much better, and rather than the show. Show must have been very well done, no mistakes, no flaw, beautiful, everybody appreciated that, good response and everything. But inside you, there is a small corner still saying that the rehearsal which I or you or whoever has done is better. A little bit it was better. Now when you start filtering that, what is little bit better? Why I felt like that? Now when that's one point of that fulfillment, samtrupti, atma samtrupti or fulfillment, or that complete feeling that I have done, I have achieved whatever I want to do in the right way, in my own capacity. That fulfillment, to me, Avanthi, we think that we are at one level as performers, which the text may say Jivatma. And then a path is given to us. We are all walking with that path. Dance is also a journey. Everything in life is a journey. So with these Jivatmas, we are just walking and taking, and every time we are going forward. Now, what is
Towards.
Yes, towards that Paramatma, which is the ultimate in our own little way. And once we just take our journey or our theme or our feeling or our power, anything what you are doing in that particular time, in the best way, the first thing one feels is that you forget yourself and you don't see anyone to whom you are doing. Once you get into that, you just move on. The only thing, the instruments and the music are supporting you because you are that. And finally, when you reach over there, that's it. If you just say that, oh, that is the ultimate, that is the fulfillment, you have delivered. You have reached where you want to with your emotion or with your feeling or with your journey or with that piece or with that poem or whatever you have taken. Here the concept comes that the old concept, in Vedanta also it is there, and in our ancient Indian tradition or Indian culture, this concept is very much there in every walk of life, that the Jivatma takes the way, reaches the Paramatma, and once it reaches the Paramatma, it merges, and then there is no up or above. So everything is in the same level. That we say that it is the fulfillment.
So you're saying that Indian dance or Balama's inspiration is that her performance and her life in performance embodied that concept of the journey of the Jivatma to Paramatma.
Yes.
And that is, you think, maybe a credo?
That is a credo. That is what I see. Because in everything when you see about Balama, it is not one thing. If you take her music sense and her knowledge of music and how she took the music, that is something very unique. And the way she has expressed herself, her expressions, that was something very unique. And the way she danced, only thing in sari and then sometimes with the cutout costumes. Very rarely cutout costumes, otherwise it is always, otherwise it's always sari with that. And with a serene face, she comes. But even with that, the heights she has gained is because of this, her fulfillment to achieve what she wants. That is what I really feel. Now, we may not be able to reach or anything, but to that level, of course.
She remains an inspiration.
Yeah, her inspiration, and she has proved that if you take that path, simply, you will never be a failure. That was definitely all dancers we can believe on them, don't you think so? We may not be reaching up to Balama's level, but we may not be a failure in our attempt, because that's the way it is. This spirituality,
because it is really not about virtuosity, it's not about display, it's not about technique,
yes,
it's about a kind of an inner realization,
yes,
right? It's
yes,
about achieving some kind of union inside one, within consciousness.
Within consciousness.
Yeah.
So that was, to me, I think that was a very important thing, which the way Balama throughout her life, whatever she has done, it was in that way.
I was thinking, Bharati, I don't know if you know, Balama has written at the Tamil Isai Sangam, I think it was, many years ago. I wrote about these things, and now my memory is a bit hazy. And she spoke about Bharathanatyam and what it is really, and for her. And again, that's an inspiration to us. And in that, she said, she was talking about the Margam. And I think that essay is available. I'll give it to you. I'm sure it'll be
yes, it will be quite useful to all the dance lovers and to our own students who are learning. That will be very helpful.
It's actually a very beautiful essay.
What was her Margam?
What? So she says Bharathanatyam, she says nothing needs to be changed. She was a traditionalist in a way, right? So, I have inherited this Margam, and this is timeless, is basically what she says.
It is true.
And then she provides a sort of because Indian arts, our dance and music forms are so steeped in religion and spirituality and divinity, she provides and because that was her life, I suppose, she came from within that ethos of the temple and the court and all of that. So she akins the Bharatanatyam Margam, the Alari Pujati Swaram Varnam Shaktam Shlokam Tilana.
Yes, the entire Margam.
The entire Margam, what she called Kacheri. She only called it Kacheri, I believe. That's the Tamil word. Margam also. But Kacheri, the Margam is, she said, like it. The journey, what you were talking about earlier,
yes,
Jivatma, Paramatma, it is a journey. The Margam is like a journey that the dancer takes through the repertoire. She goes from outside the temple to the interiors of the temple. She enters the Varnam. She's in the interior of the temple, and then she moves to the next item, and then slowly, in this time of 1.5 hours or 2 hours or whatever, and the movement of the items she has, she goes, then the final one is the Tilana or the Shloka. I can't remember which she invokes, but the Margam is such that the ultimate is the reaching of that divinity.
And how beautifully she has
taken the
Margam, and that also a temple.
Yes.
Now, Avanthi, see how it coincides. all these art forms started from the temples.
Yes.
And it was
And the
practiced,
court,
and in the court,
Yeah.
and it was all practiced in front of the courts and the known people, the knowledgeable people. And again, she is saying that that is the path for you to achieve anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere if you want fulfillment
Yeah.
in the journey.
Yeah, exactly.
In the journey.
Yes.
So
And temple is still the inspiration.
still the inspiration. That is what it is. From where it has begun, you just work throughout that, and then finally you offer it to him.
That is the reference, that is the inspiration.
That is the inspiration. And how beautifully
Yeah.
the Madham, it's a really great thing, which I don't think this point of what you have said about the Margam in Balama's vision,
Yeah.
about what she has seen. I don't think everybody knows about that. Like you have explained very nicely, I'll go outside and then you enter with your Jatiswaram and then you are moving in again. And then finally when you reach that state, it is there. It makes really sense, and that is the development.
If it is Shloka, Tilana, I don't know what the end is.
Yeah.
But whatever, at that point in the Tilana, there
It
is
is
no
Samartha.
story, there is no,
No.
there isn't any of that, that baggage of the narrative.
Yeah.
And it is just form and formlessness.
Formless, but
Yes.
your spirits are already
Yes.
there. You are in fulfillment and joy.
Yes.
And that is what is expected.
Yes.
So that is a great point. I really enjoyed, and thank you so much for telling that point of
My
Balama,
pleasure.
that Margam,
My pleasure.
which is really, I'll definitely cherish that.
Thank you.